heavens, 'cause he's bigger. Sing hallelujah with my hands up for all he's done. He's not done with us. Look at God, look at all he's done. He's not done, he's not done, he's not done with us. Sing to the heavens, 'cause he's with us. Sing hallelujah with my hands up for all he's done for us. He's not done with us. Look at God, look at all he's done for us. He's not done, he's not done, he's not done with us. Sing to the heavens, 'cause he's with us. Sing hallelujah with my hands up for all he's done for us. He's not done with us. Look at God, look at all he's done for us. He's not done, he's not done, he's not done with us. Sing to the heavens, 'cause he's with us. Sing hallelujah with my hands up for all he's done for us. He's not done with us.
Hey, get up in here. Get up in here. Shout out June-tober. Yep, June-tober. Junetober. Okay, look at God. Look at God. Look at God. Look at God. What the God has done for us. How y'all doing? Get up in here. Get up in here. Listen, I had to take off last week. I apologize. I appreciate all of y'all that, sticking loyal to me though, because I had to take off last week because I was distraught. Okay, I was distraught and I didn't feel it was fair for me to come in here on my video and need counseling from y'all the whole entire video because I was just that distraught. Like I couldn't even give y'all no information other than Carnival is playing in my face. Okay, that's all I was stuck on all last week. For those of y'all that know, I'm a cruise addict and I love cruising. If you don't know, I'm the Polish Saint. I am a motivational speaker, a published author, and a life mastery coach. How you doing, Andre? I love you guys. I thank you guys for getting up in here with me. But today we're going to unpack what happens when we answer the call on our life, right? Because I want somebody somewhere to get this message today. Because I don't want y'all to give up, okay? I don't want you to give up on yourself. I don't want you to give up on the pursuit of your dreams, your passion, your desires, whatever it is. And so this video today, I'm going to break down some of the things that you will undoubtedly experience. I am doing great. How are you? I am going to break down for you guys some of the things in a very practical hood style. What's good style? What could be understood style? Because y'all already been following me, so y'all know my chart tell me to do what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? That's I just be doing what my chart doing. I hope y'all caught my chart serious. If y'all really like that, go back, watch the videos, like the videos, subscribe to the channel if you have not already subscribed. Tell a friend about the channel so that they can subscribe. So everybody, as they coming online and they trying to figure out what is everybody talking about these charts. I don't know about no chart, and that when they look at the chart, they're like, oh, that's a lot of stuff. I ain't got time for all that. Yeah, that's how I was feeling last week about Carnival. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a lot of stuff. They can't be dropping all of this on me in the middle of all of my plans right now because God is working it out. But what is it? I said, look at God. Because listen, the Carnival's competitors been all in my DMs. Yeah. Carnival, and listen, let me tell y'all something. This is a fine social experiment that is being carried on by corporate America because you can see where they done played in everybody's face right now. Some people gonna stick with them. They don't care about the betrayal and everything, but most human beings cannot swallow betrayal. So let's see how this goes. How you doing, MMD? Iran or Israel? Duh. God. God over everything. That's it. Okay, God over everything. I pray God's will for all people in all places at all times. I don't care who they are, what their nationality is, what country they are in, what race they are in, what religion they practice. I just pray for God's will. So that's God's will and God's business. That's above my pay grade. Above me. That's above me. It's above me. Yeah. Yeah, what I do know is that Carnival played with me. That's what I know. Hi, Atomic Arthur. Carnival had upset me, but I didn't want to be in here talking about that because I know y'all be coming in here for something different, right? Y'all don't want to hear about all of that corporate nonsense, corporate greed and things. But Carnival cheated us, and now all of their competitors is all in our DM. Mhm. In our DMs. Yeah, we from Iran. God bless you guys. I pray for your safety. I don't think you're dead. I think all people that love God are going to survive no matter what happens nowhere. People can drop whatever they want to and do whatever they want to, but definitely people going to live. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping you because I'm praying for God's will to manifest in everything, everywhere, for every person, all the time, because right is right and wrong is wrong, and we can all try to, decipher what is right and wrong, but we just got to love each other. So, today's video, answering the call on your life. What happens when you decide to answer the call on your life? If you are having a call on your life, you feel this nudge, this tug, this pull, this little something, certain something, you can't really understand it or explain it. You know what I'm saying? And you like, what is this meaning, right? Especially when we looking around and we seeing amazing day to you, honey love. We see all of the nastiness going on in the world, right? It's a lot of crazy stuff going on, but some of us have a call for something higher, something divine. And it's like, how is this possible? How is this possible? It's so possible because we make that thing possible, right? We are the manifestation of God in the flesh, and that is through our hearts. So as long as we keep our hearts pure and open and we answer the call, ding, 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 get up on the line. You know what I'm saying? And we do what we're supposed to be doing as individuals, then collectively we all benefit. So I'm going to break down today a few things. I took some notes because that'll help me stay on track with y'all. But when you decide to answer the call on your life, one of the first things that's going to happen or need to happen, right, is you are going to need to become comfortable with discomfort. Okay? Comfortable with discomfort. See, most of us are comfortable being uncomfortable, right? We've become comfortable with these governments that don't like exercise our greatest will, you know what I'm saying, and oppress us and stuff. We done became comfortable with these religious structures that keep us locked up from God. We done became comfortable with settling for less, right? Poverty. None of this is the promise, but we've become comfortable with these things. And when the call comes on our life, one of the things that has the number one switch is that you have to go from being comfortable in being uncomfortable and get comfortable with discomfort. Now, the thing with discomfort is we don't know what that is. Like we don't know. Like we can get comfortable with, eating ramen noodles. I'm from the United States. I live in Alabama. So we can get comfortable with having a little bit of money, living on, small rations. We can get comfortable with restrictions. We get comfortable with these things that are uncomfortable to us, right? Like the whole lockdown thing was uncomfortable to everybody, but everybody seemed to adapt to it. Well, when you answer the call on your life, you need to get comfortable with discomfort, meaning you get comfortable with the unknown. Okay, you get comfortable not knowing, not having control, but you are trusting, right? Trust. If y'all been following me, you know that trust is reserved for God. Okay, I don't care what religious book you read, it ain't never told you to trust nobody or nothing but God. Okay, so trust the Father. And so, with that being said, if that is where your trust is and you're answering the call, then you have to get comfortable, people, with being in discomfort. Okay, that means you may have to give up your lavish lifestyle that you have become accustomed to, especially if that lavish lifestyle is causing you to sacrifice your spiritual self, your soul's desire for practical gain, right? So you might be getting a lot of money at that job, but is your soul satisfied? Are you getting in enough time of meditation? Are you getting in enough time of prayer? Are you fasting regularly? Are you listening to the call on your spirit, or are you dedicating everything to the practical, right? So uncomfort, discomfort. Next is get ready for the breaking of cycles, right? Let's say cycles. I was talking to my little cousin about this earlier. Cycles, it happen for different people at different times, and they look different, right? So let's say some of us are breaking the cycles, chains, and curses of poverty. Some of us are breaking the cycles, chains, and curses of sexual abuse. Some of us are breaking the cycles, chains, and curses of toxic environments, violence and things like that. Some of us are breaking the cycles, chains, and curses of denying our own power, right? That looks different for everybody. So, what happens is one of the things that's going to take place is you're going to move from this autopilot of doing what you've always done the way that you've always done it into doing things new. So let's say you might have been attracted to the partner who want to be all clingy, all up your butt and everything, and that was sexy to you. You know what I'm saying? But it produced toxic relationship results. As you answer the call on your life, these types of relationships will no longer be suitable for you. So you will walk away from these types of relationships. So you could have been in a relationship for 20 years, okay, the same cycle of nonsense and drunkenness and violence and psychological abuse and mental abuse and neglect and things, right? But once you answer the call on your life, what will happen is you will just have this epiphany, and you'll be like, oh, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, right, this is where somebody just get up and they just walk out after 20 years of marriage, or they just leave their job after being here for 25 years, or 1 year short of retirement, and like, I'm just ain't even it, and this is because when we answer the call on our life, one of the things is that we will be moved to break those cycles, chains, and curses that are holding us back. Okay, and so this is going from, if we're looking at this chart wise, going from the south node to the north node. Okay, so you have to break things in order to move into that higher frequency or choose the higher road. Next is you're going to lose people. You're going to lose people. You're going to lose a lot of people. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose lovers. You're going to lose colleagues. You're going to lose childhood acquaintances. You're going to lose potentially your best friend. You're going to lose family members. There will be a severing of ties with different people, because some of the people who align to your south node or the lower expression of you will not be in alignment to and could potentially keep you from ascending to your next level, right? You're breaking chains, cycles, and curses. And so anything and anyone that can keep you from that next level, it will be necessary for you to let go of. Now, this is one of the places that I see a lot of people trip up. Because when we first start off, right, and we got that fire in us, and we like, yeah, I got the call on my life. It's we're all right with the discomfort. Like, we were like, okay, but we don't necessarily quit. Even with the breaking the cycles, chains, and curses, right? This taps into the ego, and so we find the ability to, find something to be proud of in this stage, right? I'm breaking cycles, chains, and curses, so that's kind of an easy stage to keep going through. But when it comes to losing people, a lot of people give up because we want to take the people we love with us. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of the people that you love are not in alignment with your calling. Those people that you have known in your south node are representative of your karmic self or your lower self, or the self that you are trying to ascend out of. And they are there. They could have been challenges, they could have been lessons, they could have been seeds to help you grow. There could have been a lot of things, but there will come a time where you will have to sever the ties with certain energetic forces that are people that represent a lower expression of yourself. So we were like, oh, I want to hold on and with Tyrone since we was 14 and everything. Okay, well, now you didn't have a call on your life, and that call is calling you to do missionary work. And Tyrone wants to keep you in a box, locked in the house, and don't want you to talk to nobody. So you can either A, give in to what Tyrone needs, or B, you have to choose the calling, which is God's will for your life. And that means you can't have two masters, right? And so there's always going to be a severing of ties. Doesn't necessarily have to be your lover or your parents, or, it's different for different people, because what are the karmic connections in your life? And do those represent your lower self or your higher self? So get ready to lose some people. I want to show y'all my little friend that's in here, but I've been trying to get him outside all day, and he coming closer and closer to me, but he won't let me get him so I can get him outside. He a lizard, and yeah. So this is the closest he done got today. I guess he like, yeah, you're talking, so I'm gonna get over here, because he been over there watching me for like the last 2 hours. But anyway, next clarity will come. But it doesn't come all at once. And what I mean by this is clarity will come. So once you're on the call, you've answered the call, you've gotten on your journey, and you're starting to go. You have angels and guides that are guiding you along the way. And so as you do these things, you start to surrender to the call, and you get comfortable with discomfort, and you have began to break the chains, right? And you have started letting go of familiar relationships, then things will start to become a lot clearer to you. You might start to get guidance. And so this can be a place where I see a lot of people get off the journey, because as humans who use words as language, and we used to back and forth, okay, I say something to you, you say something to me. We idealize that working with God works the same way, and so we expect answers immediately. And the truth is that we get just enough light to take us to the next step, not the next level, to the next step. And so as the enlightenment comes in, you can start to feel like anxious. You can start to feel like, uncertain, that discomfort become a little bit more discomforting, because there's so much uncertainty. But this is the space where you want to lean back into your faith, and where, if y'all been following me, or if I coach you, you hear me saying, go back to God. Go back to God. Okay, do not try to idealize or rationalize, especially once you get to the point where you are starting to get signs or instructions and guidance and things along your journey to move you forward. Because this can be kind of deterring, because you'll face a lot of delays, distractions, and things like that. So understand that when you get a direction, to follow it, right? So follow the direction, because the call is all about discomfort and uncertainty, and you don't know. So don't try to rationalize it out. Don't call up Bunquisha and everybody, because remember, you should be to sever these ties anyway, because they are not serving your greatest good. They serve the old you, not the new you that you are becoming. And so when you are feeling like uncertain, trust, trust, trust. Go back to and always lean into trust, and that this is God's thing for me. This ain't my mama's thing for me. This ain't my teacher's thing for me. This ain't my uncle's thing for me. This ain't even my own thing for me. This is God's thing for me. And so you have to trust that you are being led. How you doing, Nabel, Malik? So when you trust that God is leading you, right, you will be able to get more instructions, okay, because you'll be going back. And if you, where I see a lot of people trip up is when they don't get the instructions they want, okay, they'll stop or they'll turn back. You know what I'm saying? Back on that loop. No, don't do that. Keep going forward and trusting that you are going in the right direction, and ask, say very clearly, look, I'm having trouble right now. I don't see clearly. Can you give me something that brings me comfort, a sign or something like that? Right. But don't go trying to logically make sense of the thing. Or don't try to like negotiate, like, okay, well, I always tease my little cousin because it's like, oh, so God give you instruction, you're gonna take like a half of a step, and you like, okay, God, you see me, I did it, right? So like, tell me what's gonna happen when I get all the way up there. Well, that's not gonna happen like that. Just like on a road trip, we ain't gonna stop at every mile marker and be like, oh, so what's up ahead? You just go with the flow, right? And so go with the flow, because remember, you answered the call. You're answering the call. This ain't something that you answer. You got a call. Hello. Yeah, you. This is God. I need you to go do. Now you got to get ready for that, right? So, next is you gonna start thinking different. Your mind gonna change. Yeah, your mind, your thinking start to elevate to a new awareness. So, where you would see something like a new thing present itself to you, right? Where before, right, if you was in any of the previous steps prior to getting the guidance and getting a little bit of clarity, right, and building up your trust and hopefully your faith, um, here you start to think different, because now when challenges come, those tests, attacks, and temptations, you are merely looking at them as stepping stones to your next level, right? Versus, oh my God, man, bad things is always happening to me. And if God is so good, see, a person who is answering the call understands that bad things are absolutely part of the plan, right? This is a twisted thinking, but this is a sign of I am evolving, I'm going higher. Okay, because your thought process will change, how you see things will change, how you respond to things will change, how you respond to people will change. You will no longer become a victim or be victimized in any way, because you will understand your own power, right? So the mind starts to change. And remember, the brain, it only does four things. It store, it receives, whoop, something happened, I have experience, something go in. I perceived, did it feel good? Did it not feel good? Did I was happy about it? Was I sad about it? Right? And then I store it, so I can recall it. So now when something presents itself to us externally, we immediately, the brain kicks in and it's like, oh, remember that? Oh, yep, I can smell that smell. Yeah, the last time I smelled that smell, yeah, I puked, I got sick. Yeah, that didn't feel good to me. I don't like that. I don't like going to that restaurant, or I don't like those type of people. I don't like this, right? Because this is the brain. But our thinking, when it changes, we are more in our heart centered space. And so the thoughts are in our heart and more about what we feel than what we think. And so we are able to operate in a different form. When you do this, right, you will notice that what used to bother you don't bother you no more. Things that, like most things, that become trivial to you. This is meaning you are in the flow. Okay. So the next thing that happens is that you'll begin to transform internally. Okay. Now this is where we have the renewing of our heart, because here it's not just about doing things different. It's about you becoming someone new. And in this newness, this version of you that's been waiting, because it's your soul, it's been waiting to like, boom, yeah, here I am, here I go, I'm a badass, you know what I'm saying? That part of you will begin to emerge, okay? So maybe you're a really sensitive person, right? This is where you might see people's moon sign more so expressed, right? Because internally, or the Chiron, our wound, right? Because we will begin to come into a space where we are being transformed internally. So the things and traumas that we may have carried in our mind will no longer exist, and now we don't have the same types of defenses, or we may not have the same triggers, or we may not have the same uh, emotional responses to things, right? Because internally you have changed. What I realized about myself on my journey is that early on, like when things would happen that made me upset, right, I would have these external fits. I'm an Aries, right? I would have external fits, but then internally I felt terrible. So as I went through the journey and through these steps, obviously, then I could feel how things. I don't know if you guys seen the video that I made, probably in like December or January, where I said things just feel different. I knew that I had evolved when things that would normally send me into a rage simplistically had no effect at all. Like I literally felt nothing, like to the point where it wasn't controlling me anymore, right? And this is because internally the wound had been healed, right? I had addressed the wound, and so there's a healing that happens, and so now the external expression changes, and that's what you'll feel as you go along the journey. Now, this can be hard because here we'll think we're internally healed over something, like, oh, okay, I deal with that, you know what I'm saying? I let the people go, you know what I'm saying? And then something will present itself to us, and it'll hurt, or it'll take us back a little bit, right? Because it in our mind we recall him, and so what happens here is this is an opportunity for you to heal that thing. Okay, it's not a punishment. It doesn't mean that you haven't been healing, or you're not on your journey, or you're not in alignment with your assignment. It simplistically means that there are some things that have to be let go of internally, that unless we face a certain situation, we would never know that we needed to address it. It would never be on our mind. It wouldn't, why would I be considering getting over the fact that my uncle was a drunk when I was 6 years old? I didn't think I had that much thought about it, right? Until now I'm sitting somewhere and I smell this liquor smell coming off somebody, and it takes me back to when I'm 8 years old, and I see this drunk person, you know what I mean? And now we can see these things. So be gentle with yourself and always trust the process, because remember, you're on your way to answering the call, and you have to be prepared for it. So there is a journey leading to it. Okay, so get comfortable in being in discomfort. Be all right with letting go of things and breaking cycles, chains, and curses. So what? My whole family lived in the projects and was on welfare. I choose to go out and find a job and try to support myself, or I choose to believe in myself and start businesses, or I choose to travel the world and be a missionary, or I choose to, whatever it is for you. Everybody has their own thing. So breaking generational cycles, chains, and curses just means that you're choosing different than what your family has chosen previously in other generations. So that's all that means. And by doing that, you're going to be in a different flow, in a different state. And this is why you're going to lose some people, because some of them going to be mad because they didn't answer the call. Some of your aunties, they got the same call, believe me. Some of your uncles got the same call. Some of your siblings got the same call. Some of your nieces, nephews, cousins got the same call. But here's the thing. Not everybody will answer the call. Some people will answer, but once they can't handle the discomfort, so they jump off the train. Some people can't handle being responsible for breaking cycles, chains, and curses, because it's going to make them lose some people, and they can't live without these people in these relationships. Some people cannot handle being in a state of surrenderance, so they cannot give in to the will of God, and so they get off. Some people can't handle not knowing or being in control. Some people can't handle being talked to from or receiving guidance from things that they can't logically rationalize, right? So a lot of people end up in mental institutions and things like that, or on different drugs and stuff like that. So you have to understand, the call is there for everybody. We all have a call on our life, but not everybody is answering the call on their life. And so as you do these things and you're choosing your calling, okay, it is a journey. And that journey undoubtedly takes a lot of preparation. There's a lot of things you're going to have to let go of. There's a lot of ideas, habits, people, places, behaviors, um, logical opinions, ideas, stances, right? All of those things have to be renewed. And so you'll be transformed. Next is when we go through this transformance, naturally there's going to be some resistance. This is when that chick Lilith step in. Yeah, she like, now what is we changing for? Like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? Let's say you got a a Virgo north and Virgo south node, Virgo north node. No. Pisces north, Virgo south. So you got Pisces north, Virgo south, right? Virgo is very practical, it's earthy, everything has to be logical, rational, reasonable, planned out, plotted out, controlled, perfected, right? Well, Pisces has to go with the flow. It's all intuition, it's all mystical, it's all unknown, it's all coming in from a higher space, right? And so they have to use their intuition, their imagination, and their ability to tune into the divine in order to do things. So you can see where this would be a major shift between being this practical, earthy person into this spiritual, and how do you switch that? Now, our south node and north node, technically, we should be able to use the power from our south node to power us into the north node. It's not that, oh, I'm just going to forget all about myself. No, those things are things that you've mastered, they're skills that you have, and they can be beneficial to you as long as you are exercising them in a way that leads you to your greater self. So if a Virgo south node uses their need to understand things logically to maybe study esoteric things, right, and be able to, this would lead them where? Into that Pisces area, where they would now get that esoteric knowledge that they would be able to give and lend and teach to others. They may become a writer. Virgo, ruled by Mercury, Pisces, and so they could be a writer that writes about and brings practical things into logical things. But either way, next you are going to definitely, feel the resistance. Okay, Lilith's gonna show up. It's gonna be doubt, fear, insecurity, wanting to stay in your comfort zone, right? Which is really uncomfortable to you because, again, you're not fulfilling the code. So you may be suffering. So a lot of people think, well, because if I'm being resistant, then I'm not on the right path. No. Resistance, your own resistance, is your sign that you're on the path. That's absolutely a sign, because if you were not headed in the right direction, there would be nothing to resist. Okay, there would be no need to resist anything, right? You would, yeah. Now you could just be stuck in rebellion. Okay, but if you're answering the call, you've moved past rebellion, and so now here is where resistance shows up, because resistance is going to want you to give up. Okay, here again, what do? You go back to God. You lean further into your faith. You get a little deeper in your trust. Start asking for more signs. Start asking for more symbols. Start asking for directions. Be clear too. I need to know, and make sure that you are opening yourself up and staying open to surrendering to the will, and then the direction will come. So after the resistance, next, like I said, now this is where the thing comes. The doors are open. Doors will open, right? Resistance is right before a new door opens for you. Now, here's the thing. These are doors you didn't knock on. So these are opportunities and things that you did not plan. Why? Because it's not your plan. This is God's will. You're surrendering to it. You're answering the call. The doors are set for you to get up in here. Okay? Why? Because you agreed already. Okay, now, once you agreed and you went through these challenges, you then got comfortable in the discomfort, you then broke some cycles, chains, and curses, you then let go of some people, places, and things, You've started to get some more clarity. You're starting to follow the instructions. You're getting, well, guess what? You're showing and proving yourself to be obedient. You're showing and proving yourself to be serious. You're showing and proving yourself to be worthy. You're showing and proving yourself to be loyal the whole time, right? So every challenge, and this is why you should not give up. Don't let yourself get trapped in this need to be perfect, right? Or for it to be perfect. Because one thing I will tell you along this journey, as soon as you answer the call, one thing that is definitely going to happen is all hell going to break loose. All hell going to break loose. Okay? Be it in the form of those friends and family that you're trying to leave, and those curses. And what you mean you ain't coming to Christmas dinner? Like, what you mean you ain't dressing up for Halloween no more? What you mean you want to be cremated? What you mean you ain't going to get no job? All kind of hell is going to break loose. What do you mean you listening to God? God don't talk to us no more. What is it? There's challenges, but we already talked about that, right? Tests, attacks, and temptations. They exist all along the journey at every level, every corridor, everything. They there. So, but the doors will open right after the resistance. So the greatest resistance that you face is the more beautiful what will be behind the door that you are about to walk into that you didn't plan. So here is where we could face self-sabotage. Here is where we could fall into the pit of self-doubt, self-worry, self-fear, or reaching back to places, people, places, and things that we've already left. So when these doors open, they are aligned to your purpose. Okay, so let's say, you just walk into a grocery store and there's some person there signing up authors. You never ever in your life thought about writing a book, but this person is like, oh yeah, I see you look like you got a good book, a story to tell. You want to write a book? I can help you write a book, right? You didn't knock on the door opened. Here's the opportunity for you, and it presented itself because it is in alignment to the assignment. And so do not pass over opportunities that present themselves that you didn't plan for. Okay. Now, that don't mean take every opportunity, because believe you me, there are going to be some things that's offered to you that are not in alignment to the assignment. It's not that easy, because remember, it's tests, attacks, and temptations all the way. But the way that you know for sure that you are taking the risk or the opportunities that are necessary is that you're going to keep doing what? Going back to God, praying about these things. Don't make decisions or agree to things quickly. Tell people, give me 72 hours so that I can see about this. And then you go back home and you take that thing up with God. Ask your angels, your guides, ancestors, and whatever. I don't deal with ancestors, but anyway, somebody did. But and no judgment. I talk, but I don't judge. So go back and get clarity, okay, before you be like, oh yeah, this is a good idea, or yeah, they said this and they offered me this and it looks so good, and go back to God. Because if it's not clear, if it doesn't, because remember, at this point you're getting clarity, at this point you're getting guidance, at this point you're getting information, right? And then there is resistance though before the opportunity. So that resistance is not necessarily you all the time. You understand? Because it can come in the form of a lot of things. Let's say you've been told to go to Africa, and now your grandmother come over and you're like, yeah, grandma, I got a message from the Holy Spirit to go to Africa. And your grandma like, Africa? They just brought us on the ships over here, and a lot of us died, and we don't know nothing about that land, and you got to get 6,000 shots, and you need insurance, and you don't know nobody over there, and they don't like gay people, right? And then, what are you going to eat? They only eat food, and all of this stuff, right? But if that is your calling, you should be taking that opportunity, okay? Without a doubt. When you do get these opportunities, one thing you're going to have to get comfortable with is saying no to people. You know, yeah. Because at this point, what happens when you start to get the opportunities, you start to be bright and shiny. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like to play with shiny things. You start to be more successful and abundant, especially externally. Even if you don't actually have moolah, you know, you might just have energy abundance. You could be a gazillionaire in high frequency coins, but you'll have to get comfortable with telling people no for no other reason than you have to be very particular with your yeses. What are you agreeing to? Because you have to be very careful of what you align yourself to, who you align yourself to, what type of information and things and energies that they are aligning to. There are some things that just won't align to you. A perfect example of that is I talked about in my videos. When I started making videos online and talking to people, I had an influx of people from all over different type of places want me to join a little group, come teach with us, or let us record you and we gonna put the videos here and all of this come to it. No. What I found was that was a very sticky place to be in, and a lot of those things didn't align to my teachings or my spirit. And so a lot of times, well, most of the times, I said no. There was a couple times that I said yes, that undoubtedly led me on some adventures. But for the most part, you want to get very particular about what you're saying yes to. And so you may not necessarily have to say no. That could be kind of hard, right? Most of us struggle with saying no, especially when we're the givers, the healers, the doers. But when we learn the importance of our energetic coins, you will get very comfortable with saying, "Nah, I'm okay with that. I don't want to go there." Like, why? Because certain people, places, and things no longer align to you. If you call me up and ask me, "Hey, you want to go out to the bar?" No, no, I don't. I don't want to go to the bar. But if you call and ask me if I want to go on a cruise, y'all know I'm going on a cruise. Hey, let's, yeah. That's a feed to me, right? But you have to understand what feeds your soul and what aligns to your purpose and gives you more of those energetic coins. And that's the thing that you do more of. And everything else, it's an absolute no. But that'll come. You'll have to develop that as you go along the journey. But it's definitely going to be necessary. Next is after you get, to saying no, setting those boundaries, and being more healthy, what'll happen is you'll begin to discover your strengths. Yeah. This is where you begin to discover your strength. Now, in discovering our strength, a lot of people flunk out here. I talked about this maybe about a year or two ago. Okay, where we were like, "Oh my God, I got powers. Oh shit, yeah, let me sell them." Everybody called me up $399.99. Come to my class. I'm the master. That kind of thing. So be very conscious of your strengths, right? But understand that you're going to find that you're set apart. You're going to find that you're different. Okay. It takes a lot of bravery, a lot of courage, a lot of strength, a lot of fortitude to stick to choosing to answer the call. Because as we can see all the way along here, most people, they get off of here. Okay. Why? I was hearing God, but then I ain't hear God no more. So I just decided I was going to do what I wanted to do. I had got some messages, but it was telling me to leave. I was talking to my niece. She told me, she asked me if the lizard was venomous. Now that little Monica, her her sign, her chart is obviously different than mine. Name same, but her chart is different. And she do a lot of thinking. You know, she got a lot of air and uh, water, air, water, and earth in her chart. It's like a nice little concoction, right? Mostly water, but a lot of thinking, and so she gets to thinking a lot. So she got to thinking about the lizard that was watching me the whole time we was talking, and she got to. So now I'm thinking I heard something. I'm like, because I'm thinking like, so you telling me that instead I'm thinking that the lizard trying to, I don't know what it's doing because I don't think it's trying to make friends with me, but it's like watching me and stuff. But he won't let me help him outside, and so she was like, "Well, is it venomous?" Now I started thinking like, "Is it trying to bite me?" So just now I heard it move. I'm like, "Wait, hey, I mean, getting close. I mean, he know I'm gonna distract it." Okay, people be wondering, do animals and nature things have? Yes, they got a mind and conscience and stuff. And this thing, he doing his thing. But I'm gonna get him out of here, I guess, or I don't know. I think he want to be here. I don't know. He been chilling, laying on Jake's bed and stuff. If Jake was in here, he'd be somewhere hiding in the corner. But anyway, uh, when you discover your strength, okay, lean into that strength, not in pride, okay, but for furtherance of your purpose. Thank God for it, and continue to go back to God the whole way, even as you reach more milestones in your journey, right? And as you have discoveries, because oftentimes what you're going to find is that your expectations are beyond blown. This is why I tell you guys, don't try to think about it like, or try to imagine what it's going to be, because we cannot imagine. Like, no matter how much imagining we do, we can never imagine what God has in store for us. But you can always trust that it is for your greatest good. And in that, you can always be grateful for the path that you travel in. So when tests, attacks, and temptations come, lean into that change of thought and have the higher thought. And remember to remember, these things are for my greatest good. These things are here to help me to be prepared for where I'm going, because I've never been there before. But certainly there are some things that I need that I will undoubtedly have when I get there, because I trust that this journey is preparing me. I'm the Police Saint. And I hope that this video right here helps somebody to kind of get a perspective and hopefully to not quit, because it can get hard. There are not going to be people cheering you on like, oh, yeah, yeah, you're the greatest. It's like, we're so impressed by your healing. We're so impressed that you're answering the call. No, they're not, because a lot of people are not answering the call in their life. Some of them gave up back on step 2. Some of them hit step 1 and was like, what? I don't like the way this feel. And they immediately went back to what was comfortable for them. Don't do that. Challenge yourself to go to the next step. Always go higher and higher on this journey, because that's where you're going to find what you're looking for. The pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow, but you have to get there, meaning that you have to take the journey. You have to take that trip. You have to have every new adventure and experience that is presented to you. When those doors open that you never knocked on, give grace to God, glory to God, be grateful, and open, walk in like you are ready, because the door will not open until you're ready. So if you find yourself at a door and you're like, I'm not ready for this, I'm not prepared for this, I can guarantee you that is not a door that God has brought you to. It may be a door that is there, but that door is only there as a test, attack, temptation, or potentially some other kind of resistance, because you are right at the precipice of making it to your next level. So don't give up on you. Remember to remember that we doing all of this for the future. Like, everything that I do is to prepare me for my death. And so with that being said, I don't intend to be here for thousands and thousands of years. But it's very vital that while I'm here, that I do the things that I came to do, knowing that one day, ultimately, we'll all check out of here. And we want to check out at the highest vibration possible. I'm the Police Saint. If this right here helped you in any kind of way, I don't care if it helps you go up, go down, to the side, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, Share it to your mother, your sister, your cousin, your auntie, your uncle, somebody, somewhere. Tell them the good news too, because we headed to New Earth. We're being prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And with that, we got the money because God owns the money. So we ain't got to worry about the finances. Stop worrying about finances, people. Worry about your heart. Okay? Worry about your frequency of them vibrational coins. These are vibrational coins up. Okay? If you got high banking vibrational coins, you technically priceless. So therefore, like I told my niece today, hey, my name is Golden, right? She shares my name. My name is Golden. She can walk anywhere in the city that she lives in, and people are gonna be like, "Oh, Monicaville, you're in Monicaville." Oh, because hey, I live with my thought always focused on how I want to be remembered in death. And you should do the same. I want to be remembered for carrying out everything that I came to do. I hope y'all encouraged to do the same. I hope that you go out today, have a big kid Sunday, find something to do that expresses you in a fun way. And if not, then do something to make you feel relaxed and chill, bring you to your center, make you find your joy and all of that good thing so that you can be ready for a prosperous week ahead. With that being said, I'm going to end today's video, but I thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I can help you with anything, go ahead, leave me a message. You can hit me up on my website. You can hit me up on any social media platform. I am Napoleon Saint on absolutely everything. It is my joy, honor, and pleasure to be in this position and to help people to get through this thing called life the best way possible. Thanks for showing up for your Big Kid Sunday. I'm definitely going to enjoy my Big Kid Sunday. I'm going to make me something to eat and I'm going to watch a movie. Probably something like, I was thinking like Men in Black or something like that, but then I was like, I don't really want to watch that. I don't know, something, I don't know. I'm gonna find something that, taps me in. But matter of fact, I do know what I'm gonna watch. I just remember, yep. My niece just told me to watch something that I'm gonna watch because I said I was gonna watch it. And so, yeah. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy your day. Your week is amazing, and that you find a way to be the best version of yourself, not just today, but every day, and appreciate yourself for doing it. I love y'all. Peace and wellness to you. Stay kind, stay positive, stay amazing.